Good morning, good night, and good evening. And today we've got the summer to autumn Waterline video. So we're going to go over the bad and the good. As you know, Convoy and Air Escort both made a reappearance. And they were perceived fairly, Air Escort was phenomenal. That was very positive. Convoy, I played it the first round, didn't like it. I played it the second time. It was better, but not great. It still needs work, Convoy mode. So, right off the bat, we're getting into Spanish cruisers. I read the EU forums a lot, and for years I know EU players have been dying for Spanish cruisers. The Spaniards want their cruisers. So, we're finally giving them the cruisers. Then we go to Superships. Devastation and Novorossiysk, which is basically Super Conqueror and Super Petro, are basically, coming out. Now, that just hurts Tier 9. Tier 9 really needs some love. So a Tier 9 operation would be great. Because a stock Tier 9 versus a Super Ship, it's not fun. Trust me, a Tier 9 stock breast versus a Super Ship, not gonna work. So having Tier 9 operations to help minimize the hurting of, Tier 9. Because Tier 9 used to be great, but when Super Ships came in, it got really hurt, let's be honest. Everyone knows it. Mountbatten knows it. The CCs know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. It's not a secret. Now we get into strategic operations. Now this may look confusing, but when you watch the video up top, and I have watched that, it makes more sense. Basically, this makes me think of Risk. As you know, in Risk, you have to basically you have your opponent, and you have to kind of capture that zone. So you're earning capture points, and you capture the zone, you get a reward. So I hope for this reward, the rewards are good, maybe steel, research points, coal, those kind of really good things that would make the player want to do it, and I hope we get, an achievement for completing it. Then we get the new Tier 10 Destroyer Lushun for the Dockyard this summer. 4 130s, so 2 guns and 2 guns. 2 quadruple launchers, decent salvo, mediocre range, good concealment, has no engine boost, consumables, hydroacoustic, a short burst of smoke, and, a torpedo reload booster. So, hopefully that's a good ship. I really hope we get something good in the middle, because I know a lot of people were very irritated at, the last Dockyard, Dyson, for not having anything in the middle. The fact that it had nothing in the middle really weakened why anyone would want to go for the ship when there's a Wami. Let's be honest. I didn't go for the ship because, one, a Wami's there, and two, I had no interest in it. Sorry. Now we're getting into the new carriers. When they removed carriers like Hiryu, Essex, Bogue, Taiho from the CV rework, they just kind of sat in limbo for all these years. Now we're getting them back. Minefields and airborne smoke mechanics. So basically, you can drop a minefield and you can drop a smoke screen. These are great operation things. For spawn camping, like on Narai, Hermes, any of those operations, every operation, the minefields will come into effect. So those would be great to have. Because a player that knows the spawn locations can maximize his minefields to, the absolute essential. And then smoke his allies up that are really weak to give them cover. That'll be pretty helpful. Again, with like most carriers, I recommend also buying the economic boost, and I will be buying the economic boost for these carriers. At least the tier 6 and tier 8 that will be grinding in ops, because let's be honest, you're going to need it for carriers. So I'm really looking forward for these guys. And they will be bringing these guys back in a separate temporary mode to not affect, randoms or anything, and how they want to best implement these mechanics. So we'll see them return this summer in testing, but we may not see them return for a little bit longer as they implement it. So we'll see. We could not see these guys appear till next year, after this 6 month, but they're being brought in finally. So that's pretty cool. So we'll see how these guys are. Now, for those of you that are basically, played Lego Star Wars, the original trilogy, there was a construction tab in Lego Star Wars that allowed you to make your own minifigures. This is basically what they're doing here. Is basically you're able to combine and create, pieces and patches from all the elements to make your own little patch. So that's pretty cool. There's a few patches that I would like to add with my current one to make it look more menacing. Now, for those of you that were around for last, anniversary, the Warship Strike, which was basically like Battleships, is being revised. So that's great. I liked that mode. I really liked that little minigame mode. That was kind of cool. I was a fan of Battleship as a kid. So that was a great addition. So the fact that they're revamping it and giving it some change is really cool. Now, for the bread and butter that we're going to get into, for the summer anyway, is all combat missions will include operations in their completion criteria. A special coefficient will be applied to your progress in these missions with requirements that are easy to meet in this battle type, etc. Certain amount of damage and certain ribbons. This way, completing missions and operations and other battle types will present a similar level of challenge. So, let's say 30 Citadel ribbons versus 2,000 secondary ribbons in operations. That's a pretty good trade-off. Takes a little bit more time, but that's a pretty good trade-off. And with operations now, that's a great step in the right direction. I know I've been asking for this, and it's great to finally see this, come into effect. I've said this on the forums. I'm great to see that. Now, if you do watch Twitch, and you have to really, sorry about that. I'm just getting a tongue twister. But if you are a Twitch viewer and you have Twitch drops, you are well aware that you have to restart your game when you claim it. Not anymore. These rewards will now be credited in-game as soon as they're claimed on your Twitch account now. So, eliminating the need to restart your game if it's already running. So, awesome. That's another great addition. Then we go to fall, and they're bringing some submarines in. We're just going to skip over that. Now we're getting to the new battleships. Japanese battleships. These are basically, I'm curious to see how these guys work. Again, these guys will probably get banned from clan battles, since they've been doing a whole ban thing. Since the Tier 9 and Tier 10 feature 457th, and they usually ban those ships. So, don't worry, I'm pretty sure those guys won't be making an appearance in clan battles right off the bat. But they do get an improved repair party, which I think is pretty cool. So, it'll be really cool to see these ships. Now, we're getting 2 more Superships, Italian cruiser Piemonte and USS Battleship Maine. So basically Venezia and bigger Montana. So we'll see how those work out. Whether the Super Montana will be as good as the legendary Montana, we'll wait to see. Then we go to the anniversary and Black Friday. So we are going to get some new black ships. So, okay, let's see what they give us this year. Last year, not so much. If they stick to like what they usually do, it'll probably be the best selling ships that are in black versions. But I hope they give us the discounts like they did last year on the black ships. Mass was about $10 cheaper. Mine's $10 cheaper. It's a good time to pick up ships if you want these ships. Now, the anniversary, again, you know, super containers were kind of, well, nerfed. So, we'll see how they do that. Usually they give us something else, like campaign, some missions, something really. So we'll see how the anniversary and Black Friday bring this year. And then, you know, as you know, Air Escorts is coming to randoms, like they said would happen. Okay, well, Air Escort, I really wish was its own mode. Separate modes would give a lot of life to this game, and that's what the game needs, is more separate modes. Not more separate modes and randoms. Separate battle types in general. I played convoy mode for like 5 hours yesterday for the, you know, the new EU mission dailies, and I was running into the same players again and again and again. That's concerning. And I'm just worried that a great mode will just be thrown away in randoms. Well, you'll get kind of players that don't know what to do with the mode, and you'll get those lopsided teams. I don't want that to happen, but we'll see how that goes. But it's glad it's coming back. Then we go for another operations thing. We're introducing a new nightmare operation, the final chapter between the hero fleets and Rasputin's Twilight Fleet. This grand battle will include a couple more interesting new mechanics. We'll share more details about them later. So, this is concerning, but this is exciting. So, but as we all know, Wargaming does new temporary modes to test their new mechanics. So we'll see how that goes. And then they're bringing, then the animated commanders for the duck commanders for Hot Tub were received positively. So they're working on improving the animated commanders. So that's great. But overall, for a 6-month period, this is a very positive, 6 months. This is very positive. We're getting a good balance of everything from randoms to new ships to new game additions to new kind of in-game features. We're getting a lot of attention for every battle type across, the whole spectrum. And what everyone wants is kind of getting an equal, attention. So it's a really good Waterline. It's not as great. It's better than what it doesn't beat the Return of Operations Waterline. Let's be honest. It's not going to beat that one, but it's a great step. And in terms of operations, going up to Tier 9, it's another step in the right direction. But we'll just have to wait for Tier 9 ops. Let's be honest. But I think we're slowly getting there.